Season 3, Episode 1 with my dear friend, a mentor, and someone who's very prominent in our area, Dr. Nichols. We're going to kick off, let him tell us something about him, his family, whatever he wants to share, and then we'll dive into the questions. Hello, Dr. Nichols.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
You know what mentor means, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, old. So, that's when you get to be a mentor, that means you're old.
So I need to change.
No, I'm good with that. But I'm glad to be here, and this is I moved to Madison in 2020, and we moved over here, and we have settled in, and we certainly appreciate the welcome that we've gotten.
Yes.
And it was right in the heart of COVID.
Yes, it was.
That was challenging, and but then now we're kind of back in the norm, mm-hmm. and having school, and so we're just excited to be here. It's a great community. I tell people all the time that we have 5-star kids and 5-star parents and 5-star community and teachers and staff. Superintendent about a 4. He's trying to get there.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And you've said so much already that had my thoughts going all over the place. I did not realize, and I think I did. I attended Robbie's retirement. So you came in right at that point, and I didn't realize that was 2019 going into 2020.
Yes, I actually, I spent 28 years in Decatur.
Okay.
And then I retired in 2016. And for 4 years, I did consulting work, and I worked for the State Department of Education, and I worked for the Decatur Morgan Hospital. Mm-hmm. I worked all across the country. Yeah. And in fact, one of the things I did was when Dr. Fowler left to go to the State Department of Education, I was the interim for 3 months in Madison City.
Got it.
And Dr. Fowler called me. He said, "Would you do this for us?" And I was like, "Sure." Of course, I'd known Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
We were principals and going through the years, and he was the assistant superintendent.
Yes.
But I got to know the board and all of that, and I think fast forward in 2020, I just felt the need to get back into schools. I'd been given the opportunity to be the interim principal at Decatur High School.
Okay.
And I just realized after a break,
mm-hmm.
just being around the kids, and I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie announced his retirement, and I thought, well, why not?
Yeah.
And I felt very comfortable about living in this community. I didn't want to leave North Alabama.
Yeah.
So it just worked out. It worked out great.
Well, we are grateful because your energy, your passion, all of that's been phenomenal. I'll watch and I'll say, that's what the kids need. That's what they look for when they don't have it at home or when they don't have it in the community. You are that light, and so thank you for stepping into that role.
Well, I tell people all the time I enjoy it every day.
Yes.
That people say, "How long will you do this?"
Mm-hmm.
This is my 35th year,
mm-hmm.
and I say, as long as I'm having fun, then I'm going to keep doing it because the kids make it worthwhile.
Yes.
And nothing makes my day better. I try to get into school every day,
mm-hmm.
and nothing makes my day better
mm-hmm.
than to see kids.
Yes.
Just this morning, I was at Horizon Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Gowan's STEM class was working on understanding the brain and the nervous system. These are 4th graders. I don't know when you learned about the brain and the nervous system, but I assure you it was not in the 4th grade. And if it was, I didn't remember it. But there they were, and they were engaged in that. And, that's what we're providing for our kids is exciting.
That's it. So talking to the audience real quick, I don't know if you caught what he said. He said, people ask, or maybe it's a question to himself, when will I retire? And he said, as long as I keep showing up and I'm happy. I love that.
Yeah, it's, but I'm blessed.
Yes.
I work with the best team.
Yes.
Eric Terrell is our assistant superintendent.
Yeah.
He is more than a colleague. He is a friend.
Yeah. And
the whole staff, I can name every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are so, first of all, they're all young. That's what I tell them. But they so much want this school district to be successful.
Yeah.
And they work so hard.
Yes.
And our administrators and our teachers. And so, it's just a great place to live.
Yes.
Not just to work, but to live.
I love that. You said something else, and I always try to catch up on your nuggets, but a leader always acknowledges their team. They don't say me, I. And I attended your breakfast where you got a little emotional speaking about your assistant superintendent and how important his role is to make your job easy.
You know, I could spend more time than you will allot talking about the tremendous leadership that Eric Terrell, he served as the interim before I came.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just, I tell people all the time, I love him more than just the work.
Yes.
It's a brother from another mother.
Yes.
And just the camaraderie that we have. You know, being the superintendent sometimes is a pretty lonely place.
Yes.
There's not a lot to talk to.
Yes.
But I'm very blessed. I have a great board. We've been blessed in this community for 25 years since we started to have men and women volunteer for no pay to serve on our school board.
Absolutely.
And I look at that, I don't look at it as I'm the superintendent and this is my role and they're the board. I think they would say that I really engage with them and they're smart people.
Yeah.
They're professional people. And I get a lot of feedback from them, and when I have to make certain decisions I want their feedback.
I love it.
And I get real emotional about Eric Terrell. Let me just tell you, but he's just, you know, I read a book years ago that Franklin Roosevelt said you should never hire your friends, but you should become friends with the people you work with.
That's good.
And so, you know, he's a brother.
Yeah.
And there's my heart and my brother affection for him.
I love that. So kudos to you, Eric, for operating in excellence and making Dr. Superintendent work just easy. So now, you said 2020 you came in and we know how crazy that year was. But let's talk about this winter advisory we had 2 weeks ago.
Well, you know, we live in Alabama and you just never know. You know, but again, let me here's the thing I tell people.
Okay.
Every day during that time, there was a call from Mayor Finley.
Yes.
There was a call led by the EMA, Jeff Birdwell. There was feedback from Chief Gandy and Chief Bailey of the Fire and the Police Department and Steve Haraway of the County Commission.
Yes, sir.
We got support on Public Works from Madison. There was, you know, I'm on the phone to Clarence Sutton, the superintendent at Huntsville. I'm on the phone with Ken Kubik in Madison County and the superintendent in Limestone County and Athens. And we're all communicating.
Yes.
We're all communicating.
Yes.
And so even though you have to make a decision, you get so much assistance.
I love that.
To give you all the things and parameters you can think about.
I love that.
And hope that you make the right ones. That's all you can hope for.
Absolutely. And you guys did, for the safety of the bus drivers, the kids, everyone, the staff, everyone involved. But what I heard him say is, though he is the Madison City School superintendent, he leaned on Madison County superintendent and others in the area. Huntsville City, I don't know if you said Huntsville City, but the point is they lean on each other. It may be a little competitive sometimes when it comes to the schools and different things like that, but they lean on each other for advice. The ultimate goal is our community and the people who live in it.
You know, I think by nature we're all competitive.
Yeah, we are.
I don't lose checkers. You know, and I remember being a young principal years ago at Austin High School, and Dr. Tim Lowell was at Decatur High School, and people would say, "Oh, y'all have this rivalry," and I'd say, "Let me explain something to you. I am going to tell you that if there are 100 points, I want 100.
Yes.
But if Tim gets 100, I'm fine with it. I just don't want Tim to get 100 and me have 99. But I don't want Tim to have 10. Because that means some kids struggle.
That's it.
It's not about the adults.
Yes.
It's about the kids.
That's it.
And so, you know, my goal is I hope every school district in our region is 100.
That's it.
It's not about waving the flag that says, ooh, because if you do that, then some kid somewhere has to miss the mark
That's it.
for you to be successful.
That's it.
All you can be successful on is your kids.
I love that.
And so, yeah, we all work together. And I always tell people, you know, you go to the doctor, and you don't want a doctor that says, I don't want to ask anybody else. You want a doctor that's willing to call another doctor and say, I'm not sure about this.
Yes.
And because you're the reason they're discussing. And so why not? I think we went through periods where people isolated themselves. But, you know, this isn't an athletic event.
That's it. That's it.
When you see test scores and you see achievement, those are children in those numbers.
Absolutely.
Their lives. And so we should never get to the point where we don't want to lift everybody and move everybody up. Because those are our babies.
Yeah. That is so good, and they are up next. They see Superintendent Ed Nichols and want to be the next superintendent, or you know, a teacher, or whomever you are. You have got to be the light, but most of all, step up as a leader to show that, you know what, this is not a competition, and we can come together and we can make a better future for.
Well, and you know, I think that older you get, the more you understand that the less you know.
Yes, sir.
You know, and you think you know all the answers at 40, and then at about 60 you realize you didn't even know the question.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're asking other people.
That's it, feedback.
And, you know, you and I had this discussion about raising kids.
Yeah.
Oh, we all knew how to raise our kids when we didn't have any. But yeah, you get a 9-year-old and figure that out. All of a sudden it wouldn't. I always tell young parents, just don't say what you're not going to do in the future, because you'll do it.
You'll end up doing
it. So you know, there is some. People say, you know, as you get older, you get wiser. I think as you get older, you realize how much you need from other people to do what you do.
That's it.
That you know, you do get a few scars along the way, maybe, but. You know, everybody can help make that process
a little lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lean on those other people that may be in a position or place, you know, where they may know the answer that you don't have, or maybe they can just shed some light on what you're doing.
We had them all at 17, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We thought we did anyway. You know, as we always laughed that you always thought your parents were the dumbest people in the world until you got to be about 35, and then they were a lot smarter than you ever thought about.
There you go.
That's right.
That's good. Okay. And now we're going to get to our questions. How many schools are in your school district?
Well, we have 7 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 2 high schools, pre-K center.
Okay.
So, you know, you add all those up.
That's the number you
I think that's the number. Keep up when we're getting ready to open. You know, it's a moving target in Madison because we're going to open another elementary school in 2 years, and then I have to say, well, we have 8 elementary schools,
there you go.
3 middle schools. So I try not to get ahead of myself.
I love it.
But you know, so 13, I think that's right.
Okay. Approximately how many students?
Right, we're knocking on the door of about 13,000.
Okay, so there's a purpose behind this question. This nice young man
Bless you.
manages, not just, if he has about 13,000 students, that does not include his staff and his everybody he has to deal with, even probably his peers. So that's a lot. His capacity, he is able to manage 13,000 students.
We have right at 13,000 students, 1,400 employees.
Yeah.
$180 million budget. 104 buses that run a day, 5,000 miles a day probably. No telling how many meals we make a day in child nutrition, probably 7,000.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people it's its own.
Yeah.
It's its own entity.
That's it.
You know, and I don't think as a young principal years ago at Austin High School, I realized that I ran a $9 or $10 million business.
Yes.
You know, but I do think that as you get on into the superintendency, you realize the magnitude
Of how much?
of all that goes on, and you know, that's when you have to depend upon your people.
That's it.
You have to hire good people.
Yes.
And you have to support them.
Yes.
But you also have to be willing to let people do their job.
That's it.
And you know, that to me is, you can't micromanage an organization that big.
That's it.
You can't. But you've got to have a vision.
Yes.
We have a strategic plan. That's the first thing I did when I came.
Yes.
We look at that plan. We talk about that plan. I can't tell you the amount of our staff that will say to me, Dr. Nichols, this is in our plan.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't have that, then it's going to be a mess.
That's it.
And so, I think that when we did our strategic plan, we brought community members in. We did surveys across our community to stakeholders. We really worked at getting ideas and feedback, and we try to update it.
Yes.
So why it's a big organization. Lots of the first bus runs at 6:34, I think, in the morning, and the last student gets dropped off at 5:34 or 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
After school programs. I mean, we're ball games till 9 or 10.
Oh, yeah.
That some days we're starting at 5 o'clock and we're ending at midnight.
Yeah.
You gotta depend on your people.
That's it. And that's the moral of that story.
Yeah.
That's just it. I think sometimes, and I love what you said. You said being a young principal, I could see myself possibly in this seat, but I didn't realize the magnitude of what. So speaking to a young principal who may want to sit in this seat.
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I've had that question asked me before, and I never envisioned doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
When I got out of school, I just wanted to be the best band director in the world. I was a band director. I had a great band, and I worked every day to be the best band director I could be.
I love it.
And one day, our superintendent said to me in passing,
He saw something.
I think you need to think about being an administrator. And I thought to myself, I don't want to do that. That doesn't look like any fun at all. But then I began to think about it. What would I do if I had the opportunity?
Yeah.
And I had a legal pad, and I'd write notes on it. I'd make notes. If I ever got an opportunity, I'd do this, and I'd do this, and I'd do this.
Yes.
And one day, I got the opportunity at Austin High School to be the principal.
Yeah.
And again, I was blessed with 3 great assistant principals.
Yes.
Bob Cameron, Chip Miller, and Abraham McCall. They made the boat run smoothly.
Yeah.
And great staff. But I all I did for those 5 years was think, I want to be the best principal. I never thought about, well, if I do this, I'll get to.
Yes.
I just want to be the best principal.
That's it.
And so then I had an opportunity to go to the central office and be the assistant superintendent. Still, I probably began to think maybe
That's it.
I might do that. But I never, you're happy where you are.
That's it. Oh, that's so
You're happy
good.
where you are.
That's good.
And so, I never woke up and thought I'd be in Madison, Alabama. but
Yeah. Yeah.
it was the plan. It was the place to be.
That's it. That's it.
And, so I tell people all the time when they say, well, what should I do to do? I say, do the best job you can where you are. If you're doing the best job you can where you are, you won't have to worry about where you might go.
Oh.
Just do the best job you can. Just be the best history teacher or science teacher, or be the best assistant principal, or be the best band director.
That's it.
If I had never gone on and done anything else, and I had done band for 30 years, I would have been satisfied.
That's it.
But I felt like that the door of opportunity was there, and that maybe in those meetings there needed to be a fine arts person.
Yeah.
Maybe a voice for this
That's
group needed to be there.
That's
And
it.
it's been a great career. I've I guess I have to count years sometime, almost 25 now.
Yeah.
In school administration, and it's been, I've been blessed.
Yeah, yeah. I admire him so much because there are so many nuggets that I'm hoping that you guys are catching. I didn't really want to follow up on what he said, but just in case you missed it, whatever you are, be the best of whatever that is. Stop moving prematurely on your time. Let the opportunity sometimes present itself, or if it's there and maybe you want to reach out and say, hey, ask that leader, hey, do you think that I'm developed enough to make it to this role? But be the best. If you are a janitor, be the best janitor. If you are a real estate broker, be the best real estate broker. Be the best you can be instead of trying to, move up.
And be positive.
That's it.
The
Don't be
world
negative.
is got a, I always tell people, if you're having a great day, just go to social media. You'll feel bad in about 5 minutes because somebody's on there
Saying something negative.
complaining about how somebody gave them their coffee at McDonald's, not knowing that person, not knowing the struggle of their life that
Oh, my
day.
goodness.
And so, take a deep breath
Yes.
and think about before you get
React.
there
You're right.
that what is that person dealing
That's
with?
it.
I always sometimes parents come and they're upset, and
Yes.
I think, well, I have a child.
Yes.
Boy, now if you want to see me get fired up, just hurt my baby.
That's it.
I never always say to them, they'll at the end that some of them will say, I'm sorry. I never apologize.
Yes.
You're your child's parent,
Yes.
and I got a baby.
Yeah.
Let her call me from Stanford University. I go down
We'll be
there.
up there.
I'll be down there in a heartbeat. But at the same time, I think as a leader, try to be on top of your game. Try to exhibit the amount of joy, which is not. I tell people all the time, it is not hard for me to get excited about Madison City Schools.
Yeah.
Not at all. All I have to do is walk in one
Yes.
and see a STEM or a music class or
Yes.
kids working on an engineering program or a
Yes.
green power team and a bowling league
Makes you
team.
proud.
And behind that
Mm-hmm.
are teachers
Yes.
and staff
Mm-hmm.
and parents. I could never have had the bands I had as band director if it weren't for parents.
Yes.
Never would have happened. An administration that supports you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I tell our folks all the time, I hope that they don't miss the joy.
That's it.
The careers are fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
I got out for 4 years. The thing I missed, it wasn't the meetings. It wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the State Department and paperwork.
Yeah.
It was the look on kids
Yeah.
when they're doing something they love.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
That's good.
So
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Oh, that's good. We could stay there, but I'm going to ask the next question. This is so good. Okay, here we are. Let's see. I feel like I missed a question. I did. Here we go. Okay. I've done a little research
Uh-oh.
last year. MCS was ranked number 1 of 138 school districts statewide and 57 best of 10,000 school systems nationwide. How does that make you feel?
Well, proud for our folks. We've bounced back and forth between number 1 and number 2 the last 4 years, and it's us and Homewood, us and Homewood, us and Homewood.
Uh-huh.
It makes me proud for our community and our school district. It makes me proud for the 25 years of board members.
Yes.
People, Dr. Henry Clark was the first superintendent. He started this school district 25 years ago. When we got number 1, I picked up the phone and called Dr. Clark in Fairhope and said, you planted the seeds that are growing today. I called Dr. Fowler.
Yeah.
I said, Dr. Fowler, you planted the seeds.
Yeah.
I called Robbie Parker.
Yes.
I said, Robbie, you
Mm.
planted the seeds. I'm just here to harvest.
That's it.
I'm planting my own. Maybe they'll be good in 25 years.
Yeah.
But I said, our board members that have been there, our teachers that have retired, that set the standard.
Yes.
Our community. So when we get an accolade,
Yes.
it's all of us.
Yes. Yes.
People always say to me, well, Madison City Schools, that's the shining star of Madison. And I say, isn't that the greatest thing you could hope for? Isn't the greatest thing you could hope for in your community is not that a mall
Yes.
or a plant
Yes.
or something,
Yes.
but that the thing that touches the most important thing that any of us
Our future.
have, our future and our children,
Yes.
is the centerpiece.
That's it.
Man, we ought to be excited about
That's
that.
it. That's That's
And
it.
so, yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of the fact that I tell people all the time we're the best bargain in town. If you look at the rankings, we rank 127, 127 in funding, overall federal, state, local funding. We rank 29th in local funding. So you go up there at the top of those local funds, you see Mountain Brook,
Yeah.
Homewood,
Yeah.
Vestavia,
Oh.
Alabaster. We're competing with those folks.
Yeah.
Mountain Brook has 4 times per child to spend than we have.
Yeah.
And we're going to compete with them
Yeah.
academically every day.
Yeah.
We're a pretty good bargain,
Yeah.
And I don't know what we'd do if we had that money.
Don't tell me.
I don't know what we'd do.
Do how much money?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But so, you know, we're frugal.
Yes, I love that.
We have to be.
Yes, yes.
But when we win, and all of our schools just got a on the report card. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
Absenteeism counts in that grade card. We can't control mom and dad and absenteeism.
Yeah.
So, you know, attendance plays on the card.
Wow.
We do the best we can to make sure kids come to school. Mm-hmm. Try the best we can. Mm-hmm. So it's not just academics that play into that.
That's good. That's
so,
good
but our folks drill down and work to try to be at that level.
Yes.
And so when we get an acknowledgement, I'm always one that I guess it gets to receive it.
Yes.
I'm quick to tell them this ship has been sailing fantastically for 25 years. It was started. This boat was built right.
Yes.
But it was the dream of this community. Those people I've talked to, the people that helped start it, and they said we wanted a school district that could give our kids more than they were getting.
I love that.
And you know, if that's what we keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not moving ahead and trying to find that next thing for our kids,
absolutely.
What are we doing?
That's absolutely.
So yeah, we're proud of it. Let me tell you.
I love it.
And this year we were number 1 last year. We're number 2 this year. We're working every day to figure out what we can do to get Homewood back to number 2.
That's it. And I'm going to speak to our parents. Just know that their report card could be much better if we could just get our kids on time. I know sometimes they move like sloths, but we are the parents, so let's see how we can work together to get the report, because it's important. Your kids are a part of it. Okay. Being one of the top-rated school districts in the area, can you clear up any misconceptions about students who have needs that could be medication, clothing, food?
You know,
And you kind of touched on it a little bit.
we have about 24% of our kids that are on free and reduced lunch.
Okay.
Now there are surrounding communities where that number is twice as high. Mm-hmm. There are schools in the footprint around us that maybe even have 90% in a school. Mm-hmm. But I always like to remind people that if you are struggling financially, mm-hmm. that struggle is the same regardless of where you are.
Absolutely correct.
And it's not always a result of someone not wanting to get out of that position.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a job loss. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a family breaking up. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of things that can contribute to that. Mm-hmm. And so Lee Shaw helps with our development program. We have a supporting system for students. We help them with field trips. We help them with graduation. Whatever it takes, we have a fund where people give to it, and we help kids because, you know, we have needs. During COVID, one of the first things I did when I was superintendent, the first thing was we got on a bus and delivered meals throughout our community to those families that needed food.
Yes.
And, you know, it doesn't matter that 70% are okay if you're not taking care of the other 25 or 30. And so, you know, I have found in our community, going on 4 years now, we have such a heart in our community.
Yes.
Madison Visionary Partners,
yes.
Service organizations, Rotary, and other things. They have such a heart for the community.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's why I always remind people that it's not just the school district.
No.
It's all of us.
Yes, as a community. I love that. He's saying so much, but I'm trying to be respectful of his time because he has 13 children and 1,400 staff members that he has to get back to. So, next question.
Don't worry, it's 24/7. I've got time.
Okay.
It never stops.
Are there ways individuals or companies could sponsor a student or a family?
Yes, if anybody has an interest in that, they can speak to Lee Shaw. Contact Lee Shaw at our district office. She coordinates all of that, and we have people who do that and companies that do that, and we always are looking for partners and those types of things. So,
and Lee Shaw is phenomenal.
She's
by the way.
best.
Literally, she'll mention what areas. If it playground needs mulch or whatever it is, we partner with her. If someone needs a turkey during the Thanksgiving holiday, things like that, she'll give you the ideas, so don't worry.
And just like the other day, our schools do so much. At Bob Jones, they had a canned food drive. They had a coat drive.
Yes.
You see that all across our district,
Yes.
and our kids are engaged
Yes.
in service.
Yes.
And that makes me proud.
Yes.
It makes me very proud that our kids want to do that.
They want to get involved.
Sure.
They want to get involved. Okay. I think I'm coming down to my last question. Would you mind sharing anything about staff or student successes? It could be last year, it could be since you come in, anything at all.
Well, I'm very proud that we got over 100 national board certified teachers.
Yay.
That is a huge
Yes.
accomplishment and
Yes.
something that our district has been engaged in for a long time.
Absolutely.
It's very strenuous to get that certification, and I applaud our district long before I got here for putting the funds there that those staff members wanting to achieve that could get a mentor.
Absolutely.
And so I think that says a lot about our community, about the fact that we want to help our teachers achieve that standard.
Yes.
So that to me is something that I'm proud of for the district and for those staff members who have reached out to do that. We have about 700 certified staff members, maybe 800, so that's well over 10%.
Yes.
Who have achieved that level. That's, again, we're not being competitive, but percentage-wise, we think we have the highest in the state based on staff numbers, but not that we're competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Not at all.
But you know, one of the things I always tell people, I think Madison County has the most national boards. Now, they're larger than we are.
Yeah.
Huntsville has an enormous. All that came through a partnership of the Committee of 100 and the Schools Foundation, helping to support that. So again, here's this great partnership, not just in the Madison City community, but in the larger metro community.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that says a lot about our region.
Yes.
You know,
I am so proud.
our region is growing, and it's not just Madison County, it's Limestone County
Yes.
and Athens City
Yes.
and Guntersville and Boaz,
Yes.
all these areas.
Yes.
And so, you know, while I focus on one as a superintendent and a resident of this area, I'm proud of all of them.
Yes.
You know, and celebrate their successes.
That's good.
You know, we should. That's what makes it exciting.
Yes.
And we're competitive, but I tell people, you can go anywhere in this region and get a world-class education.
Yes.
Now, do I want you to live in Madison, Alabama? Absolutely. and if you're the superintendent of the school district and you don't want people, you shouldn't be the superintendent.
That's exactly.
And if you don't want to be the best, you go do something else.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of what's happening in our community.
Absolutely.
In those areas. Arab and Guntersville and Boaz and Decatur,
Yes.
Hartselle and
Yes.
all those areas. Everybody.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
it's exciting.
Yes. Yes. You are one. I'm all out of questions. You are one to be admired because, not because you run one of the number one ranked schools in our area, but because of your passion for Madison City schools, but the surrounding schools around it. And I've heard everything you said, and everything says, I want to clap for this person, I want to celebrate this person, or I'm proud of this. But then you didn't say, I didn't get here alone. It was Superintendent Parker and Fowler and the superintendents that came before me.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we don't know how to reach back and say, you know what, that wasn't just me. It was them too. It started with them. And I'm reaping the harvest.
You know, I think of that every day, and you know, I always laugh and tell people, some of y'all, graduated magna cum laude. Some of us graduated thank you laude. And so, you know, I'm sure there was some, when I first became a principal and superintendent, there were some teachers in Maryville, Tennessee that fell out on the floor and had to have heart work done. But, you know, I always tell our folks, kids bloom at a different time.
Yes, yes.
And you never know what a word means.
That's good. That's good.
You never know. And you think back of your own pathway
Yeah.
and a teacher who said something to you that inspired you.
Yes.
That made a new direction for you. I still speak to Mr. Huffaker. He was my junior high band director, who taught me to play the tuba, took me to Tennessee band rehearsals, gave me an opportunity to dream about. My parents both dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
They didn't finish high school.
Yeah.
I had no clue what a college opportunity was, but he took me.
Yes.
And I still thank him today for that.
Yeah.
Because without that first step, I'm not sitting here.
Yeah.
But he, I always like to remind folks.
Yeah.
Back in the corner of that class.
Yes. Yes.
Don't forget about that person because they're listening more than you think, and they just need that one little ember.
That's it.
To give them something. Now, some of them, mom and dad take care of it, right?
Right.
We're preaching all the time,
yes,
right? You know you are.
Yeah.
But sometimes just a different word from somebody else.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So I was trying to wrap it up, but he said something that was so vital and so important. So piggybacking off of Dr. Nichols, I had this teacher. I grew up, I was born here in Alabama, but raised in Texas, and Mrs. Rhodes was my inspiration. And I'll always remember her. She's my 5th grade teacher, math teacher. And she just saw something in me, obviously, that I couldn't see in myself. But I will always remember her. I actually need to check and see how she's doing. But anyhow, I say that because, and I'm not going to say any names because typically my kids watch these episodes. But I have an A on a roll and I have a C. And like you said, they bloom differently.
All the time.
They bloom differently. I'm not going to celebrate the A on a roll, more than I do the C. I'm going to encourage that C. I'm going to motivate that C. That you are brilliant. Like, pour into those kids because they need it. If we're always celebrating those kids as A, B on a roll, then they're going to feel like, oh, no one sees me. I'm not doing well. So I love that you brought that up because...
Well, I always tell my folks, I tell my daughter this all the time. We all will have something somewhere in our life that we run into a wall.
Yeah.
We run into I always say, when you have those difficulties, make them a speed bump.
That's it.
Not a wall.
That's it.
Just slow down. Slow down.
Yes.
Think about why that happened.
Yes.
And then restart.
That's it.
And I always tell our staff, sometimes you just get irritated about stuff.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
And I say, wait a second, that's a pebble in your shoe.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Take your shoe off and get the pebble
Yeah.
out. Don't throw your shoes away because of a pebble.
Yeah.
And so, I always tell people, relax, and we're going to work to get through this.
Yes.
And we keep the main focus on kids and giving them opportunities.
Yeah.
And if we keep doing that, regardless of what all those numbers that are generated by somebody somewhere else,
that's it.
What we're doing is we're investing in their lives.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. But I will tell you this: said kid played a sport, and it took that coach. I don't know what that coach did.
Oh yeah.
But this child turned around, and now he's AB.
Yeah, I didn't wake up when I was 17 every day to study Shakespeare. I came because of band.
Yeah.
Now along the way, my English teacher convinced me that Shakespeare was pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And I read a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't wake up going, boy, I can't wait to study Julius Caesar or the Pythagorean theorem.
That's absolutely right.
What drove me to come to school every day was I wanted to be a band rehearsal.
That's it.
Now, every kid's different.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a sport.
It's something else.
Sometimes it's a STEM activity. Sometimes it's honors, scholars bowl,
Yeah.
bowling, whatever.
Yeah.
But along the way, that teacher showed me why I needed
That's it.
to understand that level of English and literature.
Oh my goodness.
So,
we can keep going, but we're not.
oh, well, you got to go back and do something. I'm sure that I'm going to have to do something too.
But we thank you guys so much. I am going to ask you so much wisdom was poured, so he really doesn't have to give us anything else. But any fun fact, any wisdom, anything you want to leave us with?
Well, never quit learning. You know, about a year ago, I'm a musician by trade, you
Yes.
know, and I played the tuba in band. I know that's hard for people to believe, tuba. And the guitar and most brass instruments. But I started learning to play the steel guitar and the dobro about a year ago. And my choir director at church was nice enough to let me play on the Christmas cantata. And I think they turned me off so you couldn't hear me. But, you know, I go in my house and I practice that, and it doesn't come the first time, and it's a struggle some days, but it also is kind of relaxing to step away. And I always tell folks, you know, you got to find time to replenish yourself. You can't just run 90 to nothing. I've learned that a lot, and you got to enjoy opportunities. My father used to have a great saying that always remember that only the people that truly love you and care about you will show up on your funeral if it's raining.
Oh, that's good.
And he said, so remember, you know, name who you think will be there.
Oh.
Take care of them.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, when I retired, I always tell all these superintendents, when I retired in 2016, nobody called me the first day of school and said, we can't start school without you.
Without you.
They went right on.
They went on. Mm-hmm.
And when I leave Madison one day, they'll go right on.
Yes.
So what you really do is what you're able to impact with somebody.
That's good.
How you invested in somebody.
That is so
and so I think that makes me have more joy now than I used to have.
Yeah.
You know, because I know that's really important. And when I go in a classroom like this morning, I realize, you know, at my age, somewhere it's going to stop. Even Nick Saban stopped, right?
I know.
If he stops, anybody can. And so enjoy that moment watching those kids.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because they're not like you kids growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we thank Dr. Superintendent Nichols so much for joining us today, and this was so good. So typically I rewatch and I catch the best quote that I thought was the best quote, and I'll share it. But we thank you for joining us. We hope that there was something for it today that you were able to receive, and we'll see you on the next episode. Have a